Alright guys, I want to make you a short video just showing you some of the radio straps. This is the one that I just finished. Over here I have the very first radio strap I made years ago. This is the very first strap I made, total, first attempt. So what I have here to show you is a strap that was just made. This is made in a single thickness of English bridle leather, about 10 ounces. Okay, it's a nice soft, supple leather. This one is not lined, and yet this back side is smooth as can be. It's very nice. It's going to slide against your uniform or your clothing very well with no hang-ups, no rub off of furry type backer. Okay, the front is of course very nice quality, very good leather. Okay, it's going to hold up for a long time. Paint job is all Angelus paint. They've been in the leather painting business for decades, and they really know their stuff, and it's a good quality paint. Should last well with a little bit of care. Okay, nice horizontal mic mount. Okay, that should fit the Motorola series remote mic very well, hold it very firm. You can tell it is a firm piece of leather there. It's not one of those radio strap pieces of leather that's going to sag over time and be hanging down with your mic kind of pulling away from your radio strap. Here on this side you see we have a center bar buckle, okay, versus a heel bar. Heel bar would attach just like your standard belt. Okay, this is a center bar buckle. I've got a 5-hole set punched for sizing. Belt keeper. And then also a cord keeper for that remote mic. As that cord comes off and runs up towards the remote mic, you can keep that cord a little bit more in line with your radio strap by putting that cordage through this connection here. Okay, I used Buckle Guy hardware. Okay, it's all nice, good, solid brass type stuff. Okay, on occasion I'll get solid brass stuff from Weaver Leather, but all good quality parts. Okay, I use Chicago screws only where I need to. Okay, and those are all touched with a thread locker. Okay, so that those don't come undone. Some of my very first straps had those issues. Okay, in all the other locations where I don't have to use a Chicago screw, okay, I prefer to use these solid brass rivets. I don't use copper rivets, mostly just because I like to have all the hardware matching. You can see here I've got this customer chose to have the shiny nickel. Okay, and so we've got shiny nickel everywhere where there's a piece of hardware, versus when you use copper rivets, the only things that come in copper are those rivets, and then you're going to have a different type of buckle, a different mismatched coloration in your hardware parts. So okay, so again, this is single thickness without a liner. If there was a liner on this, it would have a very thin piece of leather on this backside that's a separate piece of leather than the main 10-ounce body. It would have a very thin, soft section of leather on the backside that adds a little bit of a luxury feel. But again, we're using a good enough quality leather that even the single thickness comes out very nicely. Okay, now in some of my options, you'll hear me talk about if you want double thickness. That's taking that singular layer of 10-ounce English bridle and doubling it up. So here, with this very first radio strap that I did, I just took two 10-ounce pieces of leather, and here, I'm much better at nowadays, but you can see that seam. When I do this technique nowadays, I'm good enough that you really almost don't see any kind of seam. It looks as if it's one very thick piece of leather. Okay, but you will always have some spots where you'll be able to tell. But that's kind of that difference. Okay, if you want a double thick piece, that's different than a liner. That is taking that 10-ounce and, just like it sounds, doubling it up. Okay, some guys want that just because they want their radio strap to be very thick and heavy duty. This strap is now 5-6 years old, and you can tell it's just starting to get loosened up, where it's kind of soft and has not such a firm temper. But that's after years of wear. Anytime you have a double thickened up leather, it's going to be pretty firm. You can see here, if I hold it right here, how it doesn't really sag much. Okay, it's not very loose. This one here being single thickness, Okay, this is brand new, hasn't even been worn yet. So you can see it has a little bit of rigidity, but over time and use, this is going to become very soft and flexible. Okay, so let's take a look at this radio bucket. Okay, so the radio bucket, just so you know, right, I use a 3/16 polyester bungee cordage. It's very stout, not thin and you know, light like some of the others that you might see out there. Use a good thick piece, okay, and make sure it has a good sturdy snap, but it's not overly tight, okay, so we're not going to get too much wear on the radio over time, okay. This cordage should last for quite a while. You can tell even without that, my buckets are designed to be fairly snug, okay. Your radio is not going anywhere, okay. That just helps kind of lock it in there, okay. Add a little bit of security to it, okay. You can still see the window, okay, and this is designed where even different. So that was the standard battery. Okay, this is the thin line battery for this type of radio. This is the APX 6000XE for Motorola. Okay. Okay. Now with that thin battery, it's not going to be quite as snug, but it's still pretty snug. Okay. So, and then also if you happen to have a extended life battery that's a bit thicker, okay, seen here, your radio is still going to fit, okay, it's just even that much more snug. So regardless of what radio battery you have for that series of Motorola radio, okay, you're going to get a good snug fit. If you're local to the area, after, you know, somewhere between 5-10 years, if you want a touch-up on your threading and that kind of stuff, or you have some hardware that's starting to wear, then you can just call me up and we'll get her updated for free and or just a very low, reasonable cost, okay? We want to make sure that you're happy with your strap for a career's worth of service. I do recommend that you maintain your strap with a quality leather balm. You can get Smith's leather balm through myself and various other places. There's many forms of leather balm out there. You do want to make sure you're using a quality one that's easy to rub into the leather. If you do that every few months, you're going to have a radio strap that's going to last you a long time. You know, keep them out of the sun. Don't store them, you know, in the dash of the rig or somewhere where they're just going to sit and bake in the sun. You know, and don't let them, you know, I wouldn't submerge your leather radio strap in water for any duration of time. Otherwise, you know, mild exposure to moisture, they're going to do just fine. You're going to have a good quality strap that's going to stand up to most of your duty needs for the duration of your career. All right.